Just when I had it on the right page, Geshe.
Here. There.
Ah, okay. So we will recite refuge in Bodhicitta 3 times. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings.
So, the topic of this weekend is the essential philosophy of Buddhism. And we started yesterday with the fundamental philosophy or the view of the Buddhism, or the view taught by the Buddha is the view of dependent arisings. How not only all the external objects or things or phenomena are depending on its causes, conditions, other factors, and so forth. Also, the beings, the living beings, sentient beings, as well as their experience, whatever experience, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral, they all are also depending on cause, condition, and other factors. So therefore, all phenomena are dependent arisings. And yesterday I kind of gave a quotation from one of the sutra, Rice Sibling Sutra. And in another sutra also similar, where it would explain, all the phenomena that arises from the causes, the cause of such those phenomena are also taught by the Tathagatas. Also, the end or cessations to such is also taught by the Buddha, as well as the cause that lead to that cessation is also taught by the Buddha. So here so here the explanations, it is saying, all our unwanted, our undesired, unwanted suffering, pain, and problem, are dependent arising. They depend on cause and conditions. And what are those cause and conditions that give rise to the suffering, problem, obstacles? The Buddha taught is our own actions of karma and our own unsubdued mind. What we call the afflictive emotions or defilements, which are the cause of such sufferings. Can such suffering and problem be stopped? Can they be stopped? Not only temporarily, but permanently. Can they be stopped? And so Buddha said, yes. We don't have to suffer. The suffering can be stopped. We don't have to experience the pain continuously. If we wish and if we put the effort, those suffering and the pain can be ended or stopped, not just for temporary, but completely permanently. And the way to do the cause that lead to total cessations of the suffering and the cause of suffering is also taught by Buddha, and the Buddha explained the path, hmm, the the Eight Noble Path, or if we kind of um, content, then three higher training, through the three higher training, of moral discipline, concentration and wisdom, that we can, by applying that path, we can end the suffering permanently. So here Buddha explained, depending on arising cause and effect, the cause and effect of how the cause and conditions that lead to suffering, which we do not wish, as well as the cause and condition that can end that suffering. Hmm? And then yesterday we discussed a little bit about the cause that lead to suffering and the pain, problems, obstacles, whatever we call it, whatever we name it, those unwanted, undesirable experiences, unpleasant experiences, they all comes or arises, or we encounter experience because of our own previous karma or actions and our state of mind, unsubdued delusional state of mind. Within that, as today we talk about a little bit about delusions, and especially the three poison root delusions. Within that, we talk about the first, the delusions of the anger, and some of the practice that we can apply to overcome such anger. Yeah, so I think that is more or less we kind of discuss and talk a little bit as to that. In speaking about the cause, origin or the cause of the suffering and the problem, there are two, mainly, primary two cause, karma and the delusions. Yesterday, I spoke about a little bit of karma without going much detail about, talking about our own actions. Our actions that create a karmic potential, karmic seed. Sometimes karma can be understood as a result, sometimes as a cause. karmic result, or karmic seed. So depending on, and there was one caution today, and as well as I think a lot of people have this caution or sometimes misunderstanding about karma. The caution is everything karma? You know, is everything karma? And my view is, you know, not everything's karma. First of all, in a lot of practice prayer, you see, you know, you find term that you use, you know, karma and previous karma and immediate cause and condition. So there is two differentiation, karma and immediate cause and conditions. You find that term quite often when you practice prayer as well. Also, in one of the sutras, I don't know, they were trying to come.
I think we're trying to get it through this door.
And in also one of the sutras, one of the authors asked the Buddhas, you know, is everything that we experience, is this everything depend on karma? Is it resolved? Everything is everything resolved karma? And the person who asked that, you know, says, you know, some of the other teachers explain that, you know, and then Buddha kind of answer and kind of refute how everything is only karma, and he talked about karma and immediate cause and conditions. By changing the immediate cause and conditions, you can change your karmic experience and result. And so again, in that clearly, Buddha seems to, you know, differentiate karma and also immediate cause and conditions. And I find that understanding kind of relief. When you think everything is karma, it's like you have no control, you know. Every decision that you make is karma. Every step you take is karma. That means you almost have no control. But here, Buddha clearly explains the two things. Is karmic seed, karmic potential that you have created in the past. But it is not only that. It also depends on immediate cause and condition you create now. And you have control over what kind of cause and condition you create. You know?
This is a very interesting point because I've also always struggled with this idea that is my decision, you know, already determined by past experience. But this is also saying that the immediate cause of condition is not just from my side, but also like if someone inspires me in that moment, or, you know, is a good influence on me, that is also the condition that will help me shape my next response.
Yes, sure.
But is that because she had karma to get that information, to receive it, to be, you know, open to it?
There is karma, but it is not only the karma. Of course, there need to be karmic imprint or seed there, but to ripen that karmic seed, also you need certain cause conditions, and in that sense, you put yourself in a situation where you have that kind of environment. You know, let's say there is one environment where someone can inspire me, then there might be another environment which can discourage me, and it is up to me for me to decide whether I want to be in that environment where there can be inspiring, or I want to be in an environment where I get discouraged. And so that kind of, to what kind of environment you want to put, it is a decision you make, you know.
I think that's a delicate point that Sheila was saying, is even the decision to go there or there, is that already, you know, because of my past karma, I will already go one way or the other.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
You know, if everything is like that,
Yeah.
then it's a destiny. It is a fate. Then
Exactly.
you know. So and then the question asked by that answer, the Buddha will say, yes, everything is karma. Everything is determined by your karma. The Buddha say it's not. You know, and he spoke about definitely there is karma, but also it also depends on immediate cause and conditions. You know, and the way let's say, yeah, you know, there's strong wind, you know, and then there is a tree, you know, which maybe not strongly rooted, you know, or already getting weak, old, you know, and due to many causes and conditions, it knocked down the tree, you know. Knocking down the tree, we don't talk about this as karma. It's due to many cause conditions, because of the weather, the storm, the wind, and because the soul, the root in the soul is not strong, or all these many cause and conditions. But you happen to be there, and it affected you in some way. That is your karma, the falling down of the tree itself. You don't say it's a karma, you know. So therefore, but for us to experience, due to falling down, that we experience good or bad, whatever that experience we experience is a result of previous karma. So therefore, I wouldn't say the falling down of the tree itself is a karma, but due to falling down of karma, that you experience, what experience you experience through that, due to that circumstances or situations, that is then our personal result, our personal karma. So again, everything that happens in the world, you know, I wouldn't say everything's karma, but due to something happening in the world or around us, what we experience personally, because of that, is our karma. You know. Flood.
So how we experience something is based on our karma.
Yeah, karma and our mental perceptions or our mental state of mind. You know.
So karma is only experienced by sentient beings. It cannot be experienced by the environment.
Yeah, in environment where there is no consciousness or where there is no being, sentient beings, then we don't talk about karma, because karma is talking about something cause that we have created with certain intention, motivations, mind, certain consciousness involved in creating that cause. Yeah.
So Krishna, when we say that one of the effects of karma is that you will experience, your experience must be in concordance with the cause, right? But then when we're talking about immediate condition, we're also saying that, okay, I will experience, being in a war because maybe I've killed people in the past. But how I respond to that will affect, is also determined by immediate conditions, people who tell me, well, this is the situation you're in, what can you do about it? How can you be constructive? Right? As opposed to some other immediate conditions that will affect my state of mind and almost push me to behave in a different way. That is free, like.
Yeah, that is the choice we make, also, it reminds me, there is a story about one non-Buddhist teachers, who came to Nalanda to debate, and at that time, the monks, the teacher there was not what do you call, there was not anyone who was willing to debate with that because it was so great, and they were afraid, and so then they decided to ask, they sent a message to Nagarjuna, if you can come and debate and refute. And Nagarjuna, he couldn't come, but he said he will send his disciple Aryadeva. Of course, there's a long story about that. And so when Aryadeva first came, and then before even the formal debate that they had, they met, and then in that they make comment and then answer each with each other's. And one of those was, because by that time, the non-Buddhist teachers knew that this guy is the one who is going to debate. I mean, because of the way he asked, the way he answered, the way he cautioned a couple of times when they met. So then he hold a small bird in his hand, and he said, will I kill it or will I release it? And Aryadeva said, it depends on your compassion. So another one was, he put one foot inside, one outside. Will I go in or out? And he said, it depends on your intentions. So again, what I'm trying to bring is here is, he never say it depends on your karma, or that karma of that beings. It depends on your state of mind, your intentions. That is image, cause, and conditions. Whether you decide to go inside or you decide not to go inside. That you have choice to make at that moment.
So what if a person has a weak mind, and so, or what if a person has a strong mind? Then they have their meditation, their mind is, they have subdued, they can make a choice. But what if a person has not subdued their mind? Then they are in grips. their karma, so they will go inside or outside, not based on because their intention is very weak. So it would be based on their karma, or no?
Yes, they could still change that, you know. I mean, and that was the similar questions that one of the audience asked the Buddha was that, you know, you are born in a, because he says, some teacher says you are born as a blacksmith in a family or as a farmer, whatever job, and it's your karma to be that, you know. In that sense, you cannot change it. You just have to accept it. And that was refuted by Buddha, you know, that you don't have to, just because you are born in such family, that doesn't mean you have to be, because your family is blacksmith, you don't have to be blacksmith. Because your family is tailor, you don't have to be a tailor. Because your family is a farmer, you don't have to be farmers. You can change by changing your present situation, your decisions, and all of that. Even though you're born in that family, you know. So that was related to that, and so it is similar questions that, you know, in a way, even someone who has a weak mind, still, if they put effort and create the right cause and condition, they could also somehow improve that. You know, it doesn't mean that there's no potential to improve that. You know.
There was a question from the chat.
Yes.
Maida, do you want to unmute and ask your question, or do you want me to ask it?
Okay, we can unmute if that's okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so we want to ask Sheila, so then at what stage of our Dharma practice can we begin to change karma?
Mm-hmm. I would say, you know, through applying the, well, I guess, you know, first of all, you know, I'm born in my family, to my parent, in certain part of the world, in certain time in the history. That one I cannot change. That one I cannot change. Such karma, that is where that karma cannot change. But I think while I'm born in this particular parent, families, and this part of the world, in this time, you know, there are many others karmic seeds that has not manifested or not manifested fully, that there are all kind of different karmic seeds, and that is ready to manifest or ready to fully manifest. It started manifesting but not fully manifested. And for those, you know, through certain practices, you know, purification, different form of purifications, you know, and depending on how strong our purification, how sensitive our purification, then we can purify the karma, and through that we can change our karma. You know, if I have karma to get sick, maybe I change that karma. I don't get sick. Or even I have karma to get really very bad sick, but through purification, I get sick, but not as bad. You know, I still, you know, or other many different karma, you know, that through purifications, when you completely purify, you don't experience it. But sometimes our practice is not strong, it purifies, but not completely. And so in that cases, then, we do experience, but not fully. So therefore, in that cases, how strong we experience or how long we experience has been reduced very much. So that is the effect of the purification. In some cases, through purifications, because our purification is even less strong, then somehow we, kind of stop the negative karma from rising now. Instead, it makes the conditions, even though the negative karma has not been purified, it's still there, but we create conditions to experiencing instead of that negative karma, something positive karma. In that way, it kind of postponed, the negative karma at the moment. That is also another functioning of such as practical purification. Also, so again, for that, any practitioner at any level, if they have the faith and understanding of purification, they can start doing that. Another way that we can transform in a way is we create a lot of positive karma, virtuous karma. And because the positive karma, virtuous karma is so strong, it kind of overwhelms the negative karma, and it doesn't give opportunity for negative karma to rise at the moment. So, it gives, more opportunity because you are creating more immediate cause and conditions, and that activate while you create new karma, at the same time that activate the previous positive karma and not activating the negative karma. And in that way, again, we can change our experience, life experience and karma in that way. That way, that is how we can change. And another things that I mentioned, immediate cause and conditions, and that is, for example, I might have karma to get sick, chronic illness or something. But for that karma to ripen, we also need to create the immediate cause and condition have to come together. That karma to ripen. I have the karma, but to karma to ripen, the immediate cause and condition has to come together. Karmic seed is, as I mentioned, like the seed of the plant. But the seed of plant is not enough to grow into plant, like the experience. We need the water, fertilizer, heat, light, whatever goes. Same way for our karma to ripen, the karmic seed to ripen, we need the immediate cause and conditions. And in such cases, if I try to keep, do the right things, keep healthy, in terms of, let's say, right lifestyle, in terms of, diet, exercise, all of that, working with your physical, mental, then, even the negative karma is that you don't give the cause and condition that will happen to get sick. Or even if you have already got sick, there's a potential, karmic potential to become really bad. But again, changing our behavior, our actions, immediate cause and condition, we can stop it from becoming too bad. We can stop. So again, so through changing our immediate cause and condition also, we can change karma in that way, or the experience. Otherwise, we will have experience. If we have not changed it, otherwise we will have experience, fully that negative result of that negative karma. So I think there are so many different way of changing our karmic experience by those different actions or practice that one can apply. So yeah, I think one thing sometimes I feel is sometimes when there is misunderstanding or not fully understanding karma, and then we think everything is karma, and we don't take in consideration the immediate cause and conditions, and therefore thinking if I karma to get sick, I don't need to take care of myself. I will get sick. You know, if I don't have karma to get sick, I will not get. So in that sense, you don't take care of your well-beings. You know, like says exercise, diet, whatever. You need to take yourself healthy because you think everything is karma. If I karma to get sick, I will get sick. If I have no karma, get not sick, even whether I work with that or not. And because of that, you neglect immediate cause and conditions. You know, that sometimes I see. You know, so it is functioning of karmic seed or potential and the immediate cause and conditions. You know, the same in the world, we have karma collectively to experience so much suffering as the being in this country or the being of this world. But then we could change that. We could change that karmic result experience if the citizen of this country, citizen of the world, kind of decided to make a different what do you call it, different intention, different motivation, and then walk in a different direction, we can change it. You know. But if we don't do anything, then it wouldn't change it.
There's a question, Laura?
Yes. Please.
Yes, good morning, Geshe. I have sort of two questions, one more practical, but philosophical also, and the other one more philosophical and related to the view and what we're also discussing. So if I can, for the first question, when they, in the case of both more realized masters and also, scientific studies of people who, ordinary people who seem to remember their lives, it seems as though many people are reborn not far from where they have lived in a past life, either in the same country or the same region. I've had some debates with a friend of mine who is an Oxford mathematician, and he says, well, wouldn't you expect people to be born all of these other places? I don't think so. I have my own theories about why people may be born closer to where they've lived in the past, but I'm curious what you would say about this, given that, this is, rebirth is so much related to karma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think as you mentioned, it's interesting from some of the research that they have done with the children who remember the past. And as you mentioned, there seems to, like a lot of times those who remember seem to be mostly if man as a man, they found women as a woman coming again, more of that than actually previous life man and this life woman, and changing that. That seems to be one of the common things they found. Not all the cases, but kind of another things, as you mentioned, in a kind of close by, similar, you can say, same places or same areas or that. And also, at least those who remember, it's all they remember mostly being human before, hardly any kind of being a animal or some things, in those who remember. So anyway, those are some of the finding, but of course, this is very small number if you think of billions of human beings in just our world and all others. And of course, when you talk about people through meditations who remember, then of course they remember not only as a man, they remember as a woman, they remember as an animal, sometimes all different as well, you know, it is, even though, so anyway, so that seems to be at least some of the research who try to, that seems to be one of the common things that they seem to take a rebirth in a kind of more closer and I don't know, you know, it could be their intentions, it could be their strong karmic imprint, they have stronger karmic connections with people in that areas, you know, or that, and maybe because of familiarities, you know, and maybe also sometimes maybe also intentions, you know, their intentions could also affect, you know, that they want to come in some kind of more familiar environment than totally, you know, unknown environment, you know. And so I don't know, but this is just my thoughts. I don't really know exactly. But of course, also those are only few, so it doesn't mean that everyone's coming in the same area, you know. One can come in a totally different area as well.
Yes, I was thinking something similar, because if you think even about in this life, when we travel, so many people, they will end up traveling to places where they have family. They do repeated journeys to these places. Sometimes, of course, they'll travel to places far away they've never been before. But even this life, familiarization, etc. And then my second question, we talk a bit about the role of choice and practice versus karmic imprints, and karmic imprints. I've been thinking a lot about, you know, well, trying to think about emptiness from the perspective of not so much the emptiness side, but the implications that if everything is empty of inherent existence, then things function. And so I'm kind of thinking, well, if things function, if we are, you know, whatever, you know, our non-selves are functioning things, you know, then we can function. You know, we are not just exclusively at the mercy of our karmic imprints. We have that choice of functioning. I don't know, is that a correct assumption, or is that something that where this is not an appropriate application, you know, of kind of understanding implications of emptiness?
Well, when we talk about choice, then again, it is kind of, can be sometimes complicating a little bit also, the word choice. Functioning things like the plant, everything's also functioning things. But I don't know whether we would say they have the choice. Whether we use the word choice, they have that choice because they are functioning, phenomenal functioning things. But definitely in terms of emptiness and karma, you know, as Lama Tsongkhapa explained, and also Nagarjuna and all others, you know, when we have correct understanding of true emptiness, then our our convictions to the karma increase, not the other way around, where you think there's no karma because it's empty, therefore there is no karma. But instead, when you have correct understanding of the emptiness, then your convictions to the karma increase and multiplies. Because as you mentioned, because we understand nothing is inherently existent, because it's not inherently existent, therefore it depends on cause and conditions and other factors. And since it depends on, cause and conditions and other factors, therefore, due to certain cause and conditions, certain result is produced, and so through that, then you understand the possible how the functioning of cause and effect is possible, or how the cause is, I don't know that possible is the right word, but that is indeed, then there is cause and condition and effect. And because of that, therefore, due to certain cause and conditions, such as negative karma and the delusion, then the result is unpleasant pain. And when the cause and condition is positive, pleasant, then also the result is pleasant, positive, which is the happiness. So therefore, your conviction to the karma only improve or increases. But if our understanding of emptiness is not correct, and when we feel there's nothing exists, then we might lose conviction, any conviction to the karma. And if that happens, then that is clearly indication, is a clear sign that our understanding or realization of emptiness is not correct. Yes.
Oh, sorry, I think Lara has more.
Yeah. So you have more, Lara? Oh, also I see Amy also have. So, yeah.
Good morning, Geshe.
Morning.
My question is the interplay of collective karma and individual karma, and the strength of one over the other. Is individual karma strong? I mean, the ability to change karma, how is the strength of the karma connected to the to one's choice of how to react to the karma in terms of collective karma? Is it or really, actually, let me say it more clearly. I realize I've messed up my question, but the relationship of collective karma to individual karma, we experience both. And is one stronger than the other, or in terms of changing it, how would that work?
Yeah. When we talk about collective karma, then of course, again, it can be vast. The collective karma of 2 persons, collective karma of the whole families, collective karma of the neighborhood, collective karma of the state, the collective karma of the countries, the collective karma of the world that we live in, and so it can kind of, so there is individual karma, and then there is many different level or layer or level of different collective karma. When we, let's say an example, when we make a collectively, maybe as a 2 persons, as a family, or as a whole neighbor, or whole state, or as a whole countries, as a whole world, when we make a certain intentions, decisions to do some things, whether go for a war or whether go for peace, you know. So there is collective karma that everyone that got involved in that, then they create that collective karma that they got involved, whether it's as a whole citizen of the whole world or citizen of that one country or one particular state, particular neighbor, particular family too. So again, depending on, you know, and within, even when we make collectively the decisions to, you know, go in either way, within that, again, even though we may come to same kind of decisions, but again, the way we come to that decision might be different. You know, our intentions might be different. You know, intensity of intention might be different. So according to that, again, then there is differences. And then it slowly it comes closer, and then it becomes, there's collective karma as well as individual karma. You know, commonly we make certain decisions to take certain, that become collective. But within that, maybe I have a lot of anger, intense anger to come to that decisions. Whereas someone might not have that so much anger, still they came to that decisions. So again, because of that, then that we experience differently, collectively and individually differently. So I think there is that collective and individual karma. In such situation, of course, also a lot of time we create more individual, on individual just by ourselves, you know. So because of that, then the situation due to the world, we experience on one level collectively, we all get disturbed, let's say, or we all get disturbed by that situations. But that is the collective karma. Or we all have prosperity, let's say, you know, collectively, the whole. But within that, even those who are disturbed, then some of them are really extremely disturbed, you know, their mind being so negative, so overwhelmed that sometimes they cannot function, you know, that all kind of down, and some disturbed, but not so bad, you know, and that is the result of individual karma. That before, even when we make collective decisions, also depending on that. So again, we experience individually on different level, even though we experience collectively kind of similar disturbance. But within that, there's many different level of how we feel it. So that is collective karma, you know. And I don't know whether collective karma, you can say, is stronger, or negative karma, individual karma is stronger. You know, it depends. Again, you know, of course, collective karma is stronger, in a sense, powerful for the majority of people. On individual level, then on collective karma, then you experience more individually, more stronger with your individual karma. You know. And then, of course, in terms of purification, changing the karma, of course, individually, we work with our whatever practice, spiritually, whatever different meditation practice, purification practice, meditation we try to do that. Also, you know, we try to change the collective karma by not creating cause and condition that make even worse or bad. we're trying to, engage in this something that brings positive change, so that we can, inspire our people, maybe not immediately the whole world and the situation, but at least people around us, give them positive vibe, helping them to be more positive instead of making them to be more angry, more upset, more negative by our action, by our speech, by our behavior, So again, through that, that is how we can, we work with our practice, try to change both on individual and collective karma, trying to purify not only your negative karma, the collective negative karma of all sentient beings as well. And by through that you can effect a little bit, because you are part of your karma is not totally isolated and different from the collective karma that we are experiencing. And so therefore, when there is a change in one individual, it can affect a little bit. But also not only that, also, with the immediate cause and conditions, how you affect the people surrounding around you. And if we can kind of make some people more positive, less negative, inspire them to less, more positive, less negative, less anger, with more understanding, more forgiving, and so forth, more compassion, whatever, something positive, then again, that person might be able to, inspire another being around them. And then that is how we can change the rest of the others in that way. And in that way, then maybe we can change the collective karma as well. Yeah.
This is, in your experience as a teacher, you've taught for so many years and you've helped so many people. So you have seen many students benefit from Dharma practice. What are some examples of how you have seen people benefit from meditation, or was it more helpful when they benefit from study or practice? In your experience, what have you seen? But no names.
Well, I think I have met so many, students or individuals, practitioners, who have said, before they met the Dharma, the only thing they think is just about themselves, And then, after having come into Dharma and having learned that, they started to open and, to be less selfish. Before they met the Dharma, they was more selfish, because they didn't know that selfish was something bad or something, something negative, or that it was something that harming them and harming others. Once they started to learn the Dharma and once they contemplate and reflect on, they begin to understand how that their own ego and their own selfish is also one of the root problem for them and others. And through that practice and meditation over the time, they have become less selfish than before. Some, I have a friend who says he had very difficult being generous at the very beginning. But after coming to Dharma and practicing over the years, he said he has not been able to be extremely generous, but he has started to become more generous. He's able to be little generous. And so these are like that, of course, spiritual, forget about the spiritual realization on that, but on those levels, as I mentioned yesterday, some of them have anger management issues, they have a lot of problem with anger, but having met the Dharma and having practiced, they don't have the same problem that they had before. Doesn't mean they don't have anger, but it is not bad as it was. That become really problem for themselves and the families and everyone's, so they are, and that is the reason why they come to continue to study and teach. That is not something they have been forced to do. They continue to make effort to come to the teachings. They continue to make effort even after 20 years, 30 years, 40 years to practice, meditate as much as they can, and support the centers in whatever way they can. The reason they do it is because they find beneficial in their life. They have found very helpful and beneficial. It is, and so the reason they continue to study and practice and they continue to support is because they found help and benefit, they experience through those practices. Yeah. And sometimes the change are very subtle, and sometimes we might think I have not changed much. But if you really analyze, there is change. Also, I have heard, sometimes the practitioner themselves is not aware they have changed, but their partner or their children have seen them change. I have a friend who's like he wasn't aware that he had changed after he met Dharma and started practicing. But his children noticed that, and his children said, he used to be yelling at them, more kind of yelling and all of that. But he said after he met the Dharma and started practicing, he started doing less. He was more gentle, more kind, and less of that. So even though sometimes he's not aware of that, because it's happening very slowly, but the children notice that, and sometimes the partner notice that. And I've also met a lot of others, partners who are not necessarily Dharma practitioners, but who support their partners because they see change in them, the way they behave, the way they interact, the way they, in their relationship, the way they take care of them, being patient or understanding, all of that, So therefore, sometimes also that is. And another thing that I wanted to share, one time another friend was kind of picking me up, for teachings, and then he has been in Dharma for a while, and then of course I think a lot of people also feel like the way he feels. He feels like he has been Dharma for a while, but he doesn't feel like much has changed or transformed. And of course, I cannot say how much he has changed transformed because I don't know that person so well individually from the very beginning to see whether he has changed or not. There's so much. And then I asked him, does he kind of practice, meditate, have the intention, trying to develop intention to be help and benefit to all sentient beings, morning and every day? And he said yes. Does he kind of, dedicate for all sentient beings? And then he said yes. I told him, did you do that before you met the Dharma? No. He said no. The concept of all sentient beings is not even there. Motivation to be help to all human beings is not there. The motivation to help all the living beings, sentient beings, are not there. That is a huge progress. That is huge change. Where normally where you are just thinking yourself, your family, or if more, your friends, and maybe your countries, you know, but to be good, to be able to open your mind, you know, for all sentient beings, and also dedicating for all sentient beings. That itself is a yeah, and and then there are others, many others, you know. So sometimes, because this has become normal, you know, thinking of all sentient beings, whether you're practically, whether you are being able to help so much or not, but in your mind, you know, having this thought of all sentient beings, because now it's normal in your life, it seems like that has always been like that, but which is not that, you know, which was not that. So because of having met the Dharma, that is where you started to have that intention, motivations, and now it has become normal, and you don't feel like you have changed because it seems like it's always been there because it's normal to some extent. Yeah.
Geshe, I wanted to ask, you know, talking about purification, many times, you know, the advice is to do like Vajrasattva meditation or mantras and stuff. But I was thinking like, again, coming to teachings like this, would you consider this purification? Or study?
If you do it all if you bring the four opening power, then it can be part of that. You know, whether you go to a class teachings or let's say meditations or whatever practice, puja, whatever different dharma activities that you engage into, you know, if you try to kind of bring the four opening power in that, and that practice whatever doing it as the power of antidote, but you need to have the power of acknowledging and recreating the negative karma that we have created and cultivating the opening power or resolution, you know, not to engage again in the futures. And then, you know, recognition bodhicitta, and then, you know, as a part of purification, the antidote, then whatever virtues we engage in the practice, that can be that. And if we bring that, that also can become purifications.
But normally, it's like study and stuff, is that then more considered like merit, like accumulating virtue?
Yeah, if you don't bring those
Yeah.
aspects,
Yeah.
if you don't bring those aspects into that, then it would be more accumulating merit. But also when you accumulate merit, in a way, it does affect the negative karma to some degree, but maybe not exactly in a way that when we do the purification itself, you know. Because when the good plant that you are trying to plant, when all of them are strong and when they are growing very strongly, it can affect, even if you don't take the weed away, but maybe it might make the weed more weaker, you know, for them to. It is different when you actually take the weed out, that is like purifications. But even when you don't take the weed out, but if the actual plant is strong and that then it has the ability to take all the energy by itself and therefore not giving the energy to the weed to get the energy, and in that way maybe sometimes the weed might not get the same that it need to survive or that, you know, so it can affect in some way, but you know, it's not same the purification itself.
Okay, because I was thinking recently we were studying the wheel of sharp weapons. And I've, you know, been exposed to the text before, but this time I really felt like, you know, it is the wheel of, it is the sharp edges on my own karma of whenever coming back. But now instead of like getting upset or whatever, I just feel like, okay, you know, so what can I do now so I don't repeat it? So I just felt like, study also like helps to shape my behavior.
Oh, absolutely,
So I
absolutely,
don't,
absolutely. Let me tell you one story of one of friend. He said he started to study not as a path, but because he has stroke. He has very bad stroke. At the age of 50. And he lost everything. His ability to read, his ability to, it's so bad. Even when he go to restaurant, there is a disconnection between what he's thinking and his speech. He want to order something, but if something else comes, so he have to point with his finger to order to the menu. Even that was how bad it is. Due to that stroke. So he went to the hospital, and then the doctors, advised and so to retrain the brain and that, and also so he have to do, he have to learn. They ask him to do things that differently than he used to do. Instead of brushing with right, brushing with the left. Instead of that, also in terms of study, try to study something that he had not studied before. And so he said he had not studied. He is a lawyer, so he has not studied any philosophy in the past. So that is what he was studying. Philosophy, Western philosophy, Eastern philosophy, and part of Eastern philosophy. Then he came to the Dharma. He met the Dharma. And he said at the very beginning, even when he was studying the Dharma, his only motivations was to kind of train his brain and regain and go back to his job, as a lawyer. That is what, he had no interest in any spiritual, anything like that. He didn't have any motivation or intention to take this as a path. He just wanted to train his brain so that he can have the, strong brain that he can go his job. And then, he of course he started studying by himself, reading a lot. He said he cannot read a lot like he used to because he get very tired after some time. He cannot concentrate for a long time. So he have to read little and then pause and like that, and coming to the teachings as well, And then, one day, he lost his dog. And he said, a wish came in his mind, for his dog which passed, to have a better life, better rebirth. And he said he was so shocked. He was so shocked. Where did that come from? Where did that thought come from? So again, studying have that effect, So there is change. He's not even aware there is change in his brain thinking. And then, and then he said, very cute, when he sees spiders, he think what might have their life been, what might have their previous life been, all such thought arises sometimes. And so again, and then, of course, and now he has decided to take this as a path and dedicated his life as a path, and then, there's a lot of transformation in so many different ways, and all of them mainly coming from his studies, And because when you study and when you really contemplate, think, investigate and analyze, contemplate about, that is said as part of meditation, analytical meditations. Whether you sit cross-legged and try to quietly analyze, or whether you are just analyzing while you are debating or when you are reading, or that is analytical meditations, analytical meditation. So in a way, studying is, especially if we really analyze properly in correct way, then it is itself is also part of meditations. So definitely those study, and there are many stories also. Lamas, while they are debating, they have realization of emptiness. There are stories of certain lamas while they are debating, then they had the realization of emptiness. And some of them, while they're listening to the Dharma, they have realization. There was one teacher when Lama Tsongkhapa was giving teaching on emptiness. Then
in Tibet, in the traditional Tibetan Buddhism, there's a strong, in the universities and colleges, there is a strong tradition of debate. And debate used to really help the monks to advance in their study of practice of Dharma. So in the West, we do not have any tradition of debating. So but we do study, we do meditate. Do you have any thoughts about like how we could, use how in Western culture, what is kind of similar to debating?
discussions.
Oh,
So, of course, the way we debate is very different than the discussions. But discussions, another way of that, is a discussion, but the way in debate, the techniques is a very different, a specific technique of the way you debate. So it sharpens your mind. You have to be very sharp and quick, and the way it is, the way questions put, the way answers you have to give, so it is a training your mind to be sharp, quick, sharp, and that, and so there is definitely that advantage in such debate when you are able to do it, but again, discussions is what you can close,
is there any way that we can discuss so that it's more like debate? So that we would get more of like the advantages of sharpening the mind?
It can get, but also if people are too sensitive, it can be very, and what I heard is like in, when they first started to have master program in Lama Tsongkhapa in Italy, they introduced the debate, what I heard, but then they have to stop it because, when you debate, you are exposed in front of everyone. You might, the person who is debating might put in a situation where you feel very silly or very stupid. And sometimes that can be very difficult for someone sensitive, emotional, and depending on that, when you feel like you feel like you are made like a silly and stupid in front of all other peoples. And so I think that is where then I think they didn't do that. I think they couldn't continue to do that. I think some people even cry, in such. And so I think that is what happens in the monasteries, like,
Do they cry?
No, they don't cry.
Geshe, did you cry?
I didn't cry.
Did you ever feel like crying?
Because that is how, I guess, because you're trained from very young age, maybe that is one thing. I don't know, that could be also that. And I think maybe also, there might be many other factors, but definitely sometimes they will make you feel like extremely stupid and silly and that you don't know anything or that you are totally, but that is part of the debate.
Mind training.
That is part of debate, that is part of training, mind training, definitely. To crush your ego, yeah.
At Shantideva, we have a debate course. I don't know, I have never been, but Sheila, did you, what was your experience like with
Kind of
debate?
stupid.
Yeah.
It's very tricky.
Mhm.
Yeah, sort of exposed on the spot. Doesn't come easily, the
Mhm.
whole debate process. And when you get into Buddhist concepts, it's very confusing.
And especially in the monastery, when debate is not, you are not debating one, there are 10 or 15 of them, all kind of making you prove wrong and your view or your interpretations or your understanding, and you are being almost by being attacked. It's like being attacked by 10, 20, 30 people, at one time.
At the Tibet Community Center, we saw a debate when Ling Rinpoche, we went to see Ling Rinpoche, and then part of it was that had a debate, and they were having fun. They had a lot of, they were just joking and they were, debating and they were laughing. And
Yeah, there will be also a lot of laugh. It's laughing for all, but maybe it might not be so.
So they're laughing at you.
Yeah, it's not for the one who is answering. They are laughing because
everybody else.
everyone is laughing because, yeah. So, but the one who is answering, it might not be such a something that they are so joyful about it. But for the rest, because but it can be very also joyful.
I think everybody in the audience, they enjoyed watching it.
Mhm. Yes, Amy.
Just a quick question about collective karma and causes and conditions. I'm thinking in my mind often that I mix up collective karma with causes and conditions, and so there is a distinction, and I'm not making it. If I live, so is there something that you can help with?
Yeah. The plant, okay? When there is a seed, right, ground, earth, and with all other condition that is needed, supporting condition that needed, and then that plant grows, into the whatever plant, sprout and then slowly branches, and then whatever plant it grows, is cause and conditions. But we wouldn't say this is karma. Karma is related with the sentient beings. Karma means within there is cause and effect, general law of cause and effect. Okay, that is not a karma. Just like I explained about the external plant and all of that, due to certain cause and condition, certain result is produced. A certain, so that is kind of general law of cause and effect. Within that general law of cause and effect, then the sentient beings, due to their intentions and motivations, due to involve of their mind, then certain cause and conditions are created through their actions, through any of the door. And through, having created certain particular new cause and condition within the general cause and condition, then the beings experience certain result, and that is the karmic result. So therefore, the plant growing due to many causes and conditions, we wouldn't say is a karma. Karma has to be related with the experience of the sentient beings that is created by involvement of their mind.
Global warming
Mm-hmm.
and the effects, a huge storm, it can be seen both as causes and conditions as well as karma, yes or no? I mean, how would you define that?
I would say it is cause and conditions, cause and conditions, the global warming itself, but the effect of the global warming that we experience, different sentient beings experience differently, the effect of that is their karma.
So it's that's their individual karma then.
And there could be
not
there could be collective and individual karma. Let's say in certain part of the world, certain country or certain part of the world, maybe all the farmers are experiencing similar because of global warming. That is their collective karma, you can say. Within all these farmers, maybe some have experienced even more than others. That could be more individuals. So again,
but
yeah,
that drought would be collective karma, not causes and conditions.
Drought itself, I wouldn't say karma, I would say cause and condition, but due to the drought, the suffering, the pain that we experience is due to our karma.
But Geshe, wouldn't you say that our actions have also contributed to the drought? Right?
Yes, that is one of the cause and conditions.
Right?
Yeah, that is one of the cause and conditions.
Maybe that's where, I don't know if that's where Amy's going with this, that even the crazy weather, the drought, the hurricanes, by our behavior, we have contributed to.
Yes,
right?
sure. And that is why we experience the result, negative result of that. Yeah, Amy, did it answer your questions? Or
I'm still pondering, but thank you. I'll if it comes up again, if I can clarify it, I'll ask again, but I don't think,
yeah.
I think right now I just have to sit with it and work with it. Yeah, thank you.
It is similar like the law of gravity. We wouldn't say it's a karma, it's just the law of gravity. Same, there's a law of cause and effect. And all those law of cause and effect, we wouldn't say it's karma.
Where the issue for me is in freedom, our freedom to change what we have created, either collectively or what, I guess, and that has brought our conditions. Is that correct? What we've created collectively has created conditions?
To experience collectively, whether good or bad, yeah. And so therefore there is a freedom if we as a collective leader, if we decided to change the immediate cause and conditions, then we could change the karmic result that we experience. So collectively, if the world decided to not to contribute towards the global warming through our actions, reducing the emissions and all other things, whatever is needed, then we can change. We can change or we can reduce the effect of the global warming, and through changing that, then we can change the suffering that is experienced by the being.
So that one more thing, the prediction that this is this age of is the age, a terrible age of degeneration and all kinds of problems coming. We still have the freedom to change that?
I think so. I believe so. We haven't reached a point where there's no coming back. Even though it might be decaying. Also, I mean, of course, we often see is the age of Kali Yuga or declining ages. But of course, also is a little bit debatable as well, whether it's at this point or not.
Thank you.
Supposedly the lifespans get less and less, and a lot of other things is not happening now. Also in terms of people consciousness, I don't know whether it's going down or going up. I'm not sure. I think I feel it is going up. Yeah, in a whole, if I look from whole history, not just one decade. If we talk about 2 centuries, 3 centuries, 4 centuries, I feel consciousness has uplifted. Before, the woman has no freedom.
That's true.
There's no human right. There's no animal right. People are being more and more aware. And how do people treat the animal before? Now it is changing.
So would you say that's all collective karma? That the world in general is evolving?
A collective karma as well as the educations, the awareness. There's more, I think there's more awareness through educations, about all the things which, because there was no awareness before due to not having the educations. So then, people have different way of looking at things and different way of acting or different way of feelings. But when there is more understanding, more deeper understanding, even people who we feel, going down, still if they have all the right informations, that they will change their mind and their behaviors.
There are some people in this country that
Don't you think that that maybe education has improved and certain other factors have improved, but, for example, very important, ethics it's in the toilet, it's like, forget it. Stealing, in Wall Street, right? Stealing and all that is not only accepted, but it is kind of like it's kind of like respected, And,
But I don't know whether those are not there before. Is bigger now, is much more bigger because everything is big now. Still before, even 100 years ago, I think,
everybody's greedy.
yeah, as long until we work with our mind, What were the leaders doing 100 years ago? Same things. They're exploiting those poor ones, near ones.
But there was a general level of respect, so that it was generally safer. It was generally, you respect your elders, you respect your parents. I mean, it's crazy that the family is so disrespected now. How can anybody have a good life with the family so disrespected? I don't know. That's all kind of like very negative.
I think definitely there are some negative side and there are some positive side. I think we have to be objective to see the both side. Sometimes you focus on just the negative side and your mind becomes very negative. It doesn't help. Of course, if you just focus just on positive side, then also you don't make improvement, because when you see the negative side, then you feel like you need to improve in that area and you make an effort to improve that. So I think it is important for us to be more kind of to see the both sides and
Reality.
yeah, and not just focus on just one side. And what I see is a lot of times people just focus on negative side, and then because of that, it affects them. They lose hope, become discouraged, lose trust in another human beings, humanities, and it's not a good sign when people start to lose trust to others, when they lose hope and become discouraged. It is not a good sign. I think even if we talk in 1916 election and possibly in this election too, the reason why you had that leader is because people were discouraged and they didn't go and vote. Hopeless, they become hopeless. They think they become discouraged and hopeless about the whole political system and everything. So then they don't make effort. And as a result, that is what happened. What do you get?
Or they go to the other extreme because they're so disillusioned.
Mm-hmm.
So the question then is, who's right, Snake or you, Geshe Sherab? You think things are getting better?
No.
I take my position back. I agree with Geshe. I think if you look at a longer span of history, it is true. We don't have slaves, women have rights, you don't have child labor. We can walk down the street and not worry about getting robbed. I mean, so yes, but if I make the mistake of just narrowing down and looking at the last 20 years in America, then it really feels like we've gone downhill.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, I think we have to take a broader perspective and then also focus both on the good and the bad. Like, I mean, many good things have happened in this country. And some things have deteriorated, but some things haven't. Because we now have gay rights. I mean, who would have thought, right? We are more accepting of differences.
Yeah.
Geshe was the immediate condition. Geshe was the immediate condition to change my thinking.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, you are not only one. I feel so many people all over the world, especially in these countries, who have, because they just focus on what happened in the last, as you said, like 20 years or in recently, and due to that, they feel everything's going down and become very discouraged and losing trust.
And also because I think if we do not get reminders, what you're reading, because you look at the newspaper of whether it's a Wall Street Journal, New York Times, or India Times, it's all negative. Like everything you read is negative. What you hear on the news is negative. You go to YouTube, it's all like doomsday.
Because that attracts. They report that more because it attracts our mind.
Exactly.
And I like there was one book called Wild Happiness or Wild Happiness, and written by one psychologist, and I forgot but according to his, because of our evolutions of surviving instinct, so we are attracted to the negative for survival, and so that is why when something negative, it attracts our attention immediately. Something positive, it doesn't attract our attention immediately, or it doesn't register strongly. Positive things doesn't register so, but something negative, it can register very strongly in our mind. And so anyway, whether that's the case, but or not, but generally that is what we seems to attract, and that is why also the news, they focus on that, because they want more views.
And politicians too feed into
Yeah, that is true.
That threat, that fear.
Politicians as well as the business, the morals, Also, it's a lot of
And the
things.
advertising, if you don't have this, you will not be happy, right?
Geshe, there's a question online from
Yes.
Vivian. Vivian, you want to go ahead?
Thank you. Hello, Geshe-la.
Hello.
You are my refuge master from Kopan.
Oh,
Very,
okay.
very nice to see you again. My question is going to start off a whole new subject, so I think maybe I will wait till after the break. And since I've had my hand up for a while, I will just say my experience in Kopan of the debate was very interesting. Having watched the monks debate, and how animated they were, I was really looking forward to the debate and very disappointed to see that it was more like a self-help meeting than a debate. I don't think they really understood the idea, and I think I offended a few people. So I understand what you say about it being difficult for Westerners to debate, because you have to know what a debate is, and also you also have to have a similar level of knowledge in order not to feel stupid. The question I was going to ask, and it's I don't want to hold everybody up from their lunch today, but when we meet in after lunch and my dinner, I'm in Switzerland, could we, would you have please time to speak about dualistic thinking? I think this is something very important for me and possibly for a lot of others, and also quite hard to understand. But to start it now would probably be, it would delay us all. But I would just like to put that for afterwards, maybe.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think we will have a lunch break. Okay. Changjo Sanjo Rinpoche, Make Pana, Kejoche, Kewa Nyamba, Meba, Konde, Kontu, Kewa. Thank you. See you later. Thank you. Today was a debate. Yeah, discussion. Yeah.
I'm also saving my next question for after lunch.
Okay. Bye.